Little Westlake Village, California. It is another bright, beautiful, sunny day as Bitcoin is testing the bottom side of the range again. And what did we get? Some economic news today. Jobless claims came out higher than expected. That was bullish for the dollar. Continuing jobless claims lower than expected, and that is bullish for the dollar. And initial jobless claims higher than expected. What else happened? Inflation came out lower than expected. Core PPI across the board. PPI all the way down. Core PPI and PPI year over year, month over month. Everything came in lower than expected. And so what does that mean? That's bullish for the dollar. Bullish for the dollar. And what did we get? The bounce to the top side of the range as we were discussing. I do believe if we confirm anywhere here or higher, we are going to have the next major move in the dollar, and that explode in dollar volatility. It's dollar down for some time here. The dollar, has been down, but volatility has been compressed to the lowest level since one time back in January 23, and then one time back December 21. And wow, let's just take a look, mark those areas off. That is, let's check this out here. December 21 and back here in January. All right, sorry, let's look at January and December. So pretty decent explosive bounce from this region to the upside. Dollar bounced 4.5%, and we had a decent move to the downside here. Downside move was roughly 2% there. So what would a 3% bounce look like from this region right here? Taking the mean average there, I mean, I'm just doing some really rough numbers. A 3% bounce actually probably takes us up a bit higher. So is that in the cards? I would say that does line up for some confluence there. Needless to say, if we break this range, I'm looking for 102.91 to get hit, and risk assets to take the next leg down. Currently, momentum is crossed to the upside on the daily, and again, we'll confirm another lower low, and that would be putting pressure on to the risk assets. However, on the shorter term time frame, you can see the dollar is hitting the top side of the range on the 4-hour time frame, likely to sell off first, if you ask me. And on the hourly, you can see we're already coming down, probably a retest of 101.89. So what does that imply? Well, Bitcoin could certainly bounce out of these regions here on the daily time frame. We've been talking about it all week. Hanging on by a booger. That is the quote here. And we do have a head and shoulders formation with targets down to all the way down to 24,000, but just a break of the triangle, target down to 25,000. And I do suspect on the first pass on this purple 200 exponential moving average, we do get a bit of a bounce. What does the 4-hour say? Again, we did say yesterday these wicks likely to get filled in. As long as we don't have a 4-hour closure pretty much below the last range low here. But that is given, after we lost this range low and wick below this one, typically downside targets are going to be initiated. You can see volatility is expanding. We're crossing down and pressure is on to the downside. But can the hourly provide us any kind of relief? No, hourly is down. So 2-hour, the 4-hour, the 6-hour is still up. We'll cross down below 27.39. I'd say that is the next major pivot. if we do close here in the next 6 hour, what is the 3 hour actually? 3 hour here. Volatility increasing, pretty good sell signal. So pressure is on to the downside, not only in the shorter term time frames, but the higher term time frames, the daily, the 2-day, and the 3-day. And we've been talking about this one, the 3-day volatility expansion. Once we get above, 25%, that is going to set in probably the next 30% move for Bitcoin. And we would expect the price to go in the direction of the stochastic. And we did call it out on the 4-day time frame. The confirmed bearish divergence, multiple drives, 3-drive variety coming back from 1, 2, 3. So what is bearish divergence, right? When you get higher highs in price, right? Higher highs, and then lower highs in the RSI. So 1, 2, and you could carry this back all the way to this pivot right here. And you just have a slew of these bearish, and that inverted head and shoulders pattern is certainly getting destroyed there on pretty much that closure, closing back below that shoulder. So goosing the odds in the favor of the bears at the moment. What could potentially save us? Well, a dollar rejection at that pivot. Another bank failure. If more banks fail, Bitcoin tends to go up. And just in general, a bounce off of this 26.8 region, which is kind of the line in the sand we've been talking about for some time. As long as Bitcoin holds that area on the daily, then, you're probably going to be okay. And what else? What else did I want to bring to our attention here? What does the fear and greed index say? We're neutral at the moment. What does open interest say? Open interest is currently at 8.14 billion, so slightly ticking up from yesterday. And what is the funding rates? Let's see if that can give us any. So funding rates are positive and you're paying to go short, but inconsequential at the moment. So where does the next, I'd be looking for 0.01%. So for funding rates to get positive up in this area and funding rates right now you are paying to go short. Needless to say, funding rates are pretty inconsequential at the moment. But in general, all the economic data was pretty bullish for the dollar, showing what Powell is doing is working. And inflation went down, PPI went down, jobless claims went up. And that's in general going to be bullish for the dollar. On the shorter term time frames, I am looking at a shorter term bounce up to about 27,483. And, what kind of a move is that? We're talking about, 1.5% from where we're at right now. All right, let's check in on some of the altcoins as we've kind of goosed the odds in the favor of the bears. And where would the invalidation come in our ideas here? Any kind of a daily closure back above 29.5. If you want to front run that signal daily, or even a 4-hour or a 12-hour back above 28,340. And you're probably going to hit the top side of the range and wick into this region one more time. That's it for Bitcoin today. Let's check out Ethereum. Ethereum is still holding the line here, kind of breaking this major trend line today. Losing the green 55 again, probably going to get a bounce here on the first pass, but likely leads into some greater implications. I want to check out the Gaussian channel really quick. The Gaussian channel. Let's check out Pepe. All right. Yes, I will do that for you, sir. let's check it out really quick. I'm going to follow up on this Gaussian channel for Mr. Ethereum here, as we like to call him, Butyrol. So if we do lose the bottom side of, that is the mean band on the Gaussian channel this week, I can't believe it's already Thursday, guys. The week is blowing by faster than I could have imagined. Can we just go back in time and trade a little bit more? Really quick checking on Bitcoin here. So it's not even close to the mean band yet, but if we do lose the mean band, I'd be hoping for a bounce off of that region, as that would goose the odds in the favor of the bulls. All right, let's check out Pepe, man. Blue Ricky. I will check him out right now. Been looking to get a short in on this one, honestly, after a monumentous meme coin rally. I'd be willing to bet, excuse me, that's Gala. I'm going to take off the Gaussian channel here. Pepe, where is he? Oh yeah, I put him in my other meme coin stack here. Meme coin stack, up there with the doggy coins. Okay. Let's take a look at Pepe on BitGet. What are you trading on, Ricky? I would be curious to know. Down 15%. And last time, so we're just filling in this wick at the moment. Let's check out the shorter term time frames. But you will see a pretty massive drive of bearish divergence. No, you can't even see it. It's so new. You can't even see the RSI hasn't even really populated yet. But on the 4 hour, you're probably going to get a little more. So volatility is beginning to increase. Pretty good sell signal if, this was the continuation signal, and we just wicked below this wick, just slightly. So I am goosing the odds in the favor of the bears alongside Bitcoin. Whatever Bitcoin does, this one's going to do more to the downside. And where could we get? And you can see many drives of bearish divergence on the 4 hour. So what is bearish divergence? This is classic bearish divergence where the price is making higher highs, RSI is making lower highs. This is a little bit of a deviation, but you'd have that one, and that one, and that got you a shot to the bottom side of the range. See? 1, 2, 3, back to the bottom side of the range, and we're essentially, if you lose this region at 147,437. Next target down is going to be all the way down to, I can't even say that number. So many zeros at the end of it. But, and typically you get those 3 red candles, a little bit of a continuation. Now on the other side, is there going to be any bullish divergence coming back from this pivot? Yes, there will. So if you get any kind of a 4 hour closure, I'd say back above here at 100 and whatever, how many cents that is, 176,909 back above this pivot. And you could, get a rally back to the top side of the range. But as I've been saying, as long as we're really now back below this level on the 4 hour time frame, you're going to have pressure onto the downside. So any kind of a rally from this pivot likely to get faded somewhere around the 618, which is coming in here at 189,320. Well, I'll answer that question. When does the market begin to move forward? Now, Bitcoin is the ruler of the market, right? So let's check in on Bitcoin dominance here. Bitcoin dominance. So in general, when Bitcoin dominance, by the way, is likely to head up. The higher term time frames rule the market, and we had a 2-month closure, very bullish, and my target on Bitcoin dominance is at 53%. What does that mean? Well, when Bitcoin dominance goes up, altcoins get crushed in their Satoshi pairing. Not necessarily their dollar pairing, but as Bitcoin dominance goes up, you know, altcoins tend to get crushed. The other thing, ETH Bitcoin on the daily. So that is the ETH Satoshi pairing there. And we're still caught in a bit of a range. We broke below it, back into it. And I don't know, Ethereum is holding it up here at $1,800, but looking a bit more bearish. So answering the question, when does the market get bullish again? Well, a couple things need to happen. I'd say the dollar needs to go down, one. We want to see a breakdown below this region. So when the dollar breaks 187, which I do think right now we're more likely to bounce, which puts pressure on the Bitcoin. And dollar's got to bounce, one. Two, sorry, dollar has to get crushed. Dollar has to go down. Number two, Jerome Powell needs to bail out the banks, right? He needs to turn the money printer back on. So more bank failures, but the depositors won't get hurt. So there's a recession looming here. So I hate to break it to you, Ricky. You know, Bitcoin is still highly correlated with the NASDAQ, and Gareth Soloway was just putting out a little video this morning. And look, we're getting a little rally here. Nice. This is a bull trap, and if you look at the weekly time frame, you know, we're coming right in probably to what, the 0.5, and there's the 618. So this rally could go a little bit more, and essentially you don't, where do the bull traps come in? Where do the bear traps come in? That's where you want to be aware, and that is the 0.5 and the 618. So any kind of, you know, as long as we're below this area, you know, pressure is going to be onto the downside. And what was he talking about today was the 2001. The same thing essentially happened on NASDAQ. Sorry, let me look at the S&P. That has the most price history back in 2001. Where's 2001? 2001, there's 2008. But essentially what he was talking about is we had these massive leg down and a massive rally, right? And that's pretty much exactly what we're seeing right now. So a massive rally right up to the 0.5, and then we got slammed back down. And the market didn't come back for 15 years. He's talking about a 15-year bear market. I don't think that's going to happen for Bitcoin. We're 12 months into the halving cycle. The Fed's about to turn the money printer back on. At some point, he's got to do it. They're going to raise the debt ceiling at the end of the month. But, yeah, sorry, I don't... Bear flag and a bull flag, what do they mean? Okay. Great question, Ricky. Bear flag and a bull flag. Well, the bulls buck up and the bears claw down, right? So what does that mean? Bull flag and a bear flag. Well, let's see if we can find an example of a bull flag and a bear flag. Essentially what they look like. Okay, here's a bear flag. Perfect example. Let me take off some of these moving averages. I'm going to take off everything. There you go. This is a bear flag. And we had a couple of them during the last bear market. But essentially it looks like a flag, right? So there's the flag. And bear flags are more likely to break to the downside. Bull flags are more likely to break to the upside. And so the way they work, I mean, these worked out pretty perfect from the breakdown, right? Actually, that didn't work out as good there. But that would have been your technical target off of this bear flag. You know, close enough is close enough. That wasn't very close, to be fair. 12,000 versus 15,000. But let's see another one here. Another bear flag. Okay, and here we go. I think it was a little better done like this. Boom. So, bear flag in. There's the flag. And from the breakdown, almost an exact hit on that one. We did call that one out. And part of the reason, I got into technical analysis is I wanted to be able to call the macro tops, the macro bottoms, and we have an indicator for that. This is called the Pi Cycle Top Indicator, called every major macro top in Bitcoin's history. And if you can call the top, well, you can save yourself a lot of money. So the way this indicator works is when you, basically it just flashes red. When this blue line intersects price action, the top is in. And to be fair, this one did call it at 60,000 bucks, and then we had a rally up to 69. But if you would have sold there, would have saved yourself probably some good heartache. This one called it a little better here at 20,000 bucks, and we had a 70% drawdown there. This one here, yeah, I lost half my money in the 2017 breakdown. This one, 66% drawdown, and I will leave you with that. So, we have several indicators we follow that tell us, hey, when is the top going to be put in? When is the bottom going to be put in? And right now I am targeting a move down into this green box of peace and prosperity and death and despair. And that is going to line up right with the 1618 fib and the 0.5. That's where the bear traps come in. Between 21 and 23,000, but likely going to get a bounce on the first pass at 25,000, and then we're going to judge it from there. Remember, a recession is looming overhead. So when a recession comes, the S&P typically trades down 30% from the high. To be fair, we did tag 30%. But minimum target on the S&P this year for me is down 3,200 to 3,000 when the recession hits. Unemployment hits 5%. Stan Druckenmiller was just saying, look, a variety of factors, including a decline in retail sales and upheaval gripping the nation's regional banks, prompted him to accelerate his recession forecast. He goes, I'm not predicting something worse than 2008. It's just naive not to be open-minded to something really bad happening. What else? I think that's enough out of me today, guys. I appreciate what indicator is used for the buy and sell. Ricky, let me just, it's called the Pi Cycle Top Indicator. And I'm going to bring you to our resource center at bitcoinadvisors.com, and you can essentially go to our resource center. The number one thing I learned is bullish and bearish divergence, and this is how to set up TradingView right here. And then you got bullish and bearish divergence, the cheat sheet. That's the number one thing, if you ask me, if you're going to learn how to trade, is to master bullish and bearish divergence. Can get you some of the most massive moves in Bitcoin's history. And with that, I got to go. I got to run, Ricky. I hope you have a great day, a blessed and highly favored day, and I will see you tomorrow. Take care.